An exotic fragrance wafts from a crack in the center of the plaza. Hu Yushuang takes out a silver alms bowl containing a golden five-clawed golden dragon, which alarms the foreigners. Although an elder of the Merchant Association asks for quiet, the foreigners remain nervous about the appearance of a descendant of the dragon race. Han Li discovers that the true form of the golden dragon is a drop of spiritual blood, which attracts the attention of the great Ascension ancestor. The spirit blood auction is about to begin, but a drop of unknown golden spirit blood draws attention. Although the spirit blood contains terrifying energy, it cannot be refined directly, and its purpose is unknown. A mysterious man in a black robe claims to have an impression of the spirit blood and asks to go forward for appraisal. The elders agree to let him approach to observe, but he must not touch it. An emaciated elder launched an assault on the sprouting giant tree with other Commerce Alliance elders while the black-robed man and the long-bearded elder seize the chance to make their escape. The Commerce Alliance's leader, Ming Zun, pursued the black-robed man in vain and ordered a manhunt for both. Han Li pondered over the dark green wooden sword in his hand. Suspecting it had something to do with the giant tree, Ming Zun announced an increase in the number of intercontinental teleportation slots for auction and personally oversaw the event. Han Li shifted his focus to the teleportation slots in the hope of seeing Nangong Wan as soon as possible. The bidding proceeded smoothly, seemingly because fewer people were interested in the teleportation slots due to the blood tempest or their reluctance to leave the continent. Han Li acquired a secret manual from the Immortal Realm called the 5 Treasures Forging the Primal Spirit Technique, which strengthens the 5 internal organs and enhances magic power and divine abilities. Cultivation of this technique requires demanding physical strength and vast amounts of celestial Ling Qi, making the cultivation process extremely slow and requiring thousands of years. Han Li hesitates about cultivating this technique because of its long duration, but its powerful auxiliary effects make it difficult for him to give up. A man in a black robe appears, introducing himself as Tian. He has never met Han Li before but has learned about him through Fan Paozi's introduction. The man in the black robe reveals that he is a friend of Fan Paozi's, praises Han Li, and expresses that he has come specifically to visit Han Li. The blood of the nightmare dragon is not the blood of the ancestral dragon, but a celestial existence that is not inferior to the ancestral dragon. The true dragon clan senses the existence of 8 drops of nightmare dragon blood and searches for them in various realms. Although the nightmare dragon blood contains a vast amount of true essence, it is mixed with chaotic power, and if an outsider forcibly refines it, they will be transformed into a projection of the nightmare dragon. The true dragon clan uses the nightmare dragon blood to improve their magic power and expel the chaotic power, leaving only about 10 of the true essence, and they are unable to ascend. Han Li considers the invitation of the black-robed man to assist the true dragon clan at the Grand Spirit Dao Fruit Conference, and to receive the help of the black-robed man. The Grand Spirit Dao Fruit Conference only invites powerhouses with true spirit strength. The Grand Spirit Dao Fruit can help one obtain the Grand Spirit Dao Body, increasing the cultivation effect by 78 times. In a secret underground hall, a giant magic array is activated, with black armored guards filling it with spirit stones. Han Li, Blood Soul, Zhu Guo'er, and over 50 others gather, waiting to be teleported to the Blood Heavenly Continent. The general manager of the Chamber of Commerce, Ming Zun, is present to personally supervise the teleportation and talks to Han Li, showing him a friendly attitude. When the alien Mahayana cultivators learn that Han Li once bravely fought in the demon realm and killed the mother of insects, they become enthusiastic. After the magic array is ready, Han Li and the others enter the giant magic array, and the teleportation begins. Ming Zun and Flying Cloud Fairy confirm that a dragon has mixed in among the teleporters. Suspecting that it used a secret technique to deceive the restrictions, Ming Zun reveals that the nightmare dragon blood is not the ancestral dragon blood, and the dragons seize the opportunity to abscond, preventing any conflict between the Chamber of Commerce and the dragons. Bai Ying, the general manager of the Chamber of Commerce, invites Han Li to meet and presents him with an 8 ghosts devouring Buddha painting. Han Li is drawn into the painting by a bloody light and meets the monk featured in the picture, who is surrounded by 8 yellow spring ghost kings emerging from the blood mist. The monk proposes a test, asking Han Li to endure the yin wind of yellow spring for a quarter of an hour. If he passes, the monk will share important information with him. The monk urges Han Li to stop collecting the Yellow Springs Ghost King, But Han Li claims to be curious and collects the Yellow Springs yin wind. The monk is surprised by Han Li's strength, and offers him the position of guest elder with privileges from the Helen Alliance. Han Li is interested in the alliance but is more concerned with the monk's real reason for asking. The monk reveals that he has discovered a new small world with abundant resources which is being fought over by the 10 kings of the Netherworld. The Alliance and the Netherworld ghosts have stopped fighting and decided to have a battle of the strongest to determine the distribution of the small world's resources. The monk invites Han Li to represent the Alliance in this battle, and promises a huge reward regardless of the outcome. Han Li inquires with the monk the whereabouts of the ancient sacrificial altars. The monk reveals that they have acquired the locations of 70 to 80% of the ancient sacrificial altars on the Bloodski continent. Han Li joins the Helian Trade Alliance and participates in the Battle of the Strongest with the conditions of providing information and intelligence channels. The monk provides a map of the Bloodski continent and a distribution map of the ancient sacrificial altars. Han Li receives information about the ancient sacrificial altars from the Scarlet Rainbow Sword. The Black Spirit Saint vessel carries Han Li and the others away. Lord Green Shadow disguises as a round-faced youth, expressing his wish for Han Li assistance in securing the victory of the Helian Trade Alliance in the Battle of the Strongest. Han Li led Shui Po and others to find the altar. A group of foreign Bloodheaven tribesmen fought for the spirit medicine, and the sight of a grand ascension flying ship passing by shocked everyone. Han Li went to the forbidden area of a medium-sized sect but returned empty-handed and continued searching. The Li Huo sect was in an uproar over the release of the demonic spirit giant ship by Han Li and his group, and some suggested seeking help from the higher echelons of the sect. Han Li group enters the Bloodbone Gate sphere of influence and changes to a black flying carriage. A month later, they arrive at Blood Crane City, a prosperous metropolis garrisoned by Bloodbone Gate. Blood Soul describes Blood Crane City's characteristics and security conditions, mentioning the presence of Bloodbone Gate's Grand Ascension cultivator. Blood Soul plans to enter the Myriad Moon Mountain range to search for clues about her true form. While Han Li searches for the altar in its vicinity, Han Li gives Blood Soul a sound talisman, instructing her to use it if she encounters trouble. Han Li group enters Blood Crane City, where the guards inquire about their origins. However, Han Li subdues them with his high-level aura. The masked figure decides to release information, using the presence of the Mahayana cultivators to resolve the matter. After obtaining the materials, Han Li retreats to cultivate, and is joined by Patriarch Hua Shi and Zhu Guo'er. A month later, Han Li senses movement and rushes out of the room, after which a deafening noise occurs over the inn. Two Mahayana patriarchs oppose each other in the sky, causing buildings to collapse. The masked figure appears and asks the Mahayana patriarchs why they ignored the Bloodbone sect. The old woman and the masked figure argue, and the young Taoist controls the situation. The masked figure proposes a competition of 3 moves with the old woman at the arena to resolve the matter. The masked figure reveals that someone preceded the Mahayana patriarchs to Blood Crane City. Xiao Ming, an old woman, and fellow Taoists make an appointment for a contest of skill in the Blood Crane City arena. Xiao Ming and the old woman begin their contest in the arena. Xiao Ming uses a white bone blade, which is melted by the black flames released from the old woman's black wooden hairpin. Xiao Ming uses his second move, summoning a silver hoop to chase after the old woman. It is cut apart by a dagger transformed from the old woman's short black wooden fork with a demon flame wrapped around it. Xiao Ming deploys his third move, with blood energy bursting forth and engulfing him. Madame Wan Hua casts a spell, but it is interrupted by the Crimson Toad with 9 eyes summoned by Xiao Ming. Madame Wan Hua summons a black fireball to counter the Crimson Halo, but is suppressed by the halo enhanced by the Crimson Toad with 9 eyes. Han Li appears, and Madame Wan Hua activates the Flying Needle Array. Han Li performs the sacred transformation and turns into a form of the devil. Han Li, the devilish cultivator, defeats Mistress Wan Hua, displaying his terrifying demonic arts. Taoist Qing Ping admits defeat, unable to withstand Han Li's supernatural powers. Xiao Ming recognizes Han Li's true identity and invites him to join him in Blood Crane City. Mistress Wan Hua and Taoist Qing Ping are invited to Xiao Ming's cave, but a dispute arises regarding the distribution of treasures from Heaven's Cauldron Palace. Xiao Ming claims to possess the key to Heaven's Cauldron Palace and demands 90 of its earnings. Mistress Wan Hua questions Xiao Ming's claims, suggesting that the key in his possession may not be genuine. 100 high-level cultivators are collecting array materials at the edge of the Wanmont Mountains. A pale blue stone platform in the swamp enshrines a small, faint green cauldron, surrounded by 3 ugly old men cultivating. People from 8 kingdoms and 19 sects near the Qian Mountains have mysteriously disappeared. And an investigation reveals traces of blood residue, suggesting they were sacrificed by a blood Dao expert. The Being sect sends someone to inform the Bloodcry sect and the Wind Serpents tribe to investigate the matter. And also enlists the help of the True Man of the Smoke and Rain to investigate. In a canyon at the bottom of a lake north of the Qian Mountains, there is a blood mist and a dark red blood river, in which a figure controls a sparkling object. Han Li receives a spirit tablet message and, accompanied by the Stone Flower Ancestor and Blood Fiend, leaves the Blood Stork City for the Wanmont Mountains. Han Li acquires the Void Heaven Cauldron and plans to use it to open the Heaven Cauldron Palace and rescue his Taoist friend. Bing Po. Shui Po informs Han Li that he is not the only one who possesses the key to the Heaven Cauldron Palace, but that the Bloodbone sect also holds a key. As outsiders gradually congregate in the Wanyu mountain range to seize the key, a conflict erupts. Han Li and his companions patiently wait for the Heaven Cauldron Palace to open, with the Void Heaven Cauldron guiding them to its precise location. A month and a half later, mysterious pentacolored light and scattered runes appear in a pool of water in the Wanyu mountain range. Sensing the change in the Void Heaven Cauldron, Han Li and Shui Po set out for the Heaven Cauldron Palace. Other key holders take simultaneous action, racing towards the same destination. Han Li and Shui Po arrive at the basin where the 5-colored beam of light is located. Within the basin, there are 3 groups of people: a middle-aged husband and wife with different auras, 5 cold-looking young men with similar appearances and costumes, and a team of hundreds of people led by an ancestor of the Great Ascension stage. Later, 6 more Great Ascension ancestors arrive. They are Xiao Ming, Qingping Taoist and Madame Wenhua, 3 acquaintances of Han Li, as well as 3 other old men whose identities are unknown. The 3 groups are vigilant about Han Li's identity, while Xiao Ming expresses willingness to make friends with Han Li. The man of Han in brocade led his disciples to form a formation and attack the giant gate, using a silver sword to cut open a rift and enter it. Fairy Washi and the Pure Innocence ancestor were bounced away by the giant gate, and the Pure Innocence ancestor used his giant hand to smash the giant gate, and they both entered. 3 emaciated elders worked together to push open the giant gate and entered as well. Han Li used silver flames to melt the giant gate and entered with blood soul. The 5 blood cultivators turned into streaks of blood light and followed them in. Xiao Ming pointed out that someone was lurking in secret, not yet revealing themselves. Han Li and the Blood Soul plan break the seal using the Void Sky Cauldron and the Void Sovereign Cauldron. The Blood Soul uses the Void Sovereign Cauldron as a key, and with the help of a secret technique, assists the Void Sky Cauldron. However, there is a risk of a backlash. Han Li utilizes the Void Sky Cauldron and the power of his golden Dharma idol, in combination with the blood strands of the Blood Soul, to break open the blood-colored runes and ultimately open the seal. The azure light carrying Han Li and the Blood Soul travels through the black hole and arrives in a space similar to the outside world with peaks and verdant trees. Han Li releases the gold-devouring king worm, Jin Tong, to protect Shui Po. Han Li and Shui Po split up to break the formation. Han Li enters a dense forest and encounters trees with distorted faces that shoot out light beams, which Han Li blocks with a light barrier. The trees release a green fire, which Han Li light barrier absorbs. Han Li gray light barrier shoots out crystal threads, eliminating the monstrous faces on the trees. Han Li arrives at a flower garden, where the flowers transform into ghost heads and attack, which Han Li defeats with his thunder serpent. Han Li encounters a black and red lake. Xiao Ming and 2 others break the peripheral palace restriction and continue their journey. The man in brocade kills a double-headed giant ape, lifting another peripheral palace restriction. 3 evil old men drive 3 giant worms to crash through the sea of beasts. The Blood Accord 5 and the Blood Shadow engage in fierce battle, fighting for the sealing key. Nearly 1,000 high-level beings attack the giant door together. Old Ancestor Crimson Thunder appears, blasts open a crack in the giant door, and enters the Heavenly Cauldron Palace. Han Li faces 2 metal puppets, blocking his way in the corridor. An old man attacks out of nowhere, and Shui Po is caught between 2 puppets and the old man. The old man easily destroys the puppets and demands that Shuipo hands over her treasure. Shuipo refuses, and the old man casts a secret technique to capture her. But it is interrupted by a mysterious crystal light. The old man regenerates his severed arm and fires a scarlet shuttle at Shuipo. But it is deflected by the golden figure by her side. The golden figure uses crystal threads to trap the area, and the old man angrily responds by summoning an ancient silver mirror. A golden figure appears and slays a headless serpent. It repels and beheads a tall elder. Old ancestor Kai Lei's nascent soul escapes, but is slain by a sword light transformed from golden light. Shuipo thanks the golden figure and continues exploring. 10 days later, at the giant gate of the 10,000 Moon Mountain Range, disciples of the Bloodbone sect set up a super formation. 2 Mahayana beings, Elder Bai Yu and the hideous woman, discuss a secret matter. The giant ape strikes with 2 small mountains, injuring 2 emaciated old men and enveloping the third elder with invisible sword energy. The emaciated old men use magic weapons to resist the giant ape's attack, but they suffer injuries in the process. Han Li uses the Jingjiaju and the Brahma Saint demonic arts to transform into a 3-headed, 6-armed giant ape, greatly increasing his strength. Xiao Ming and the others make a surprise appearance, and the 2 sides face off briefly. The emaciated old men call themselves the Witch Spirit Trinity and compete with Han Li for the treasure. Han Li ventures into the extreme ice glacier region and his body freezes. Xiao Ming and his companions engage in an intense battle against a blue ice sparrow and a giant. The 3 wise men of the witching spirits enter a hall suspected to be the entrance to the blood prison and discover a blood-red pillar. 3 old men summon supernatural beings to fight against the blood spirit and skull-devouring butterfly. The black palm and white phosphorus flying serpent are defeated, suffering heavy losses. The old men deploy their octopus monster tentacles and giant arm tattoo insect to resist their enemies. The user-named old man transforms into the 8-armed azure demon, annihilating the blood spirit and skull-devouring butterfly with 7 colored rays of light. The 8-armed azure demon exhausts its chi and transforms into the Wusser-named old man. The emerald spirit sword absorbs snowflake energy into the heaven and earth origin chi, piercing through the golden mask and entering the teleportation formation. Han Li was teleported to a gray space with a giant blood-red stone tablet. After breaking through the seal, Xiao Ming and the others arrived at a fairyland like Golden Hall. But they had mistakenly entered a place other than the center. Xiao Ming speculated that someone had tampered with the seal and changed the teleportation exit. Daoren Qingping stated that the person who broke the seal must be more powerful than true King Tianding or had inherited his legacy. Xiao Ming believed that the person controlling the center should only have control over part of the seal and had not obtained all the legacy treasures. The 3 decided to break through the light curtain and enter the area where the central stone tablet was located. The giant hall contains the bones of a gigantic beast and traces of a fierce battle, indicating that someone fought there before. The silver plate on the wooden shelf in the corner is empty, suggesting that someone has taken away the treasure. There is a temple building in another space, and the crystal vial does not react, suggesting that it may not be the target location. The 3 saints of the witches arrive in front of the blood gate, and after dispelling the fog, they find a blood lake. There is an iron cage on the blood lake, containing skeletal remains, possibly the remains of a great enemy who was suppressed in the past. The 3 saints of the witches intend to identify the remains of the Great Witch, while also coveting the treasures on the other remains. The strange insect sword is unable to break through the iron cage's demon avoidance divine thunder. The demon avoidance divine thunder on the iron cage may have been refined, making it even more powerful. The spirit witch elder wants to use the black water dragon from Netherworld Netherwater to break through the demon avoidance divine thunder. Han Li discovers a statue of Ascendant Master Tianding on the sacrificial table. On both sides of the statue are statues of a green eagle and a silver mantis. On the floor in the temple are 4 bloody armor puppets and 2 unidentified skeletons. The skeletons may have died after battling the blood armor puppets. 2 storage bracelets are found on the skeletons, which Han Li takes using the void technique. Carefully, the trio use dark flames to incinerate the blood chain. The dark figure within the bones of the heavenly shaman cannot be identified by divine consciousness. An elder surnamed Yu strikes the bones with a bone sword, but to no avail. Instead, it excites the dark figure. An elder surnamed Wu decides to use the soul-swapping technique to extract the dark figure, which consumes a great deal of Dharma power. Elder Wu casts a spell, making his palm transparent. He slowly extracts the dark figure, obtaining a jet-black jade token. The tree spirit shatters the dark silk and soars into the air, but is sliced and burst apart by the bloodline of the celestial skeleton. The green void figure escapes, but is sucked into and devoured by the skeleton's blood mist. The primordial spirits of Elders Wu and Yu escape the iron cage, but witness the death of their companions. Elder Yu summons a giant scorpion as a void figure, while Elder Wu urges him to escape. The skeleton rises, its aura strengthening as the primordial spirits flee. The 5 blood brothers appear, their expressions strange and their eyes filled with blood. A mysterious blood figure emerges, claiming that the blood puppet can capture primordial spirits. A blood cloud surrounds the primordial spirits and the blood figure, and a battle is about to break out. After entering the Heavenly Palace, Han Li encounters the incarnation of Blood Soul, who asks for his help in rescuing the trapped Great Ascension cultivator, Ice Soul. Upon meeting Ice Soul, Han Li discovers that her cultivation has also reached the Great Ascension stage. She explains to him the reason for her entrapment and reveals the hidden treasures left behind by Celestial Heavenly. Han Li learns about the connection between the Void Heaven Palace and his own origins. He discusses a plan with Ice Soul to leave the Heavenly Palace, but Ice Soul reveals that there are still vital treasures left to retrieve and asks for Han Li assistance. After Han Li attack, the white light emitted from the statue of True Immortal Heavenly Tripod neutralized his attack. Fairy Ice Soul told him that the statue and the small pagoda complemented each other. Han Li transformed into a giant ape and attacked the statue with 2 small mountains and a Dharma idol with 3 heads and 6 arms, which the statue resisted with sword energy. Han Li used his purple golden fist shadow and golden vortex to finally smash the restraints on the statue in the pagoda, and retrieved the small pagoda. Han Li offered the small pagoda to Fairy Ice Soul to let her choose a treasure, but she declined and asked Han Li to choose 3 first. Han Li and Bing Po appear, and the trio learn that Han Li's companion has obtained the Heaven Cauldron inheritance. Xiao Ming proposes a trade exchange, the Heaven Cauldron treasure for a copy of the Cultivation Technique and Tribulation Transcending Method. Bing Po refuses, stating that the Cultivation Technique she obtained prohibits external transmission and that the Heaven Cauldron only consumed a celestial fruit seed to transcend the tribulation. Qing Ping questions Bing Po's statement, but she refuses to allow him to inspect her divine consciousness sea. Qing Ping demands an explanation, and Han Li releases his aura, forcing the trio to retreat. Xiao Ming is astonished by Han Li's hidden strength, and the latter warns them not to make a move. 5 Grand Ascension cultivators team up to besiege Han Li, who is preoccupied with protecting the Ice Pulse. Xiao Ming and 2 others take on Han Li, using the 9-eyed blood toad technique and Fairy Washida's crystal ring to separate him from the Ice Pulse. Han Li activates 3 mountains to form a translucent light barrier, defending against attacks from Xiao Ming and Fairy Washidi. Han Li transforms into a golden-haired giant ape and attacks Fairy Washidi and Ancestor Wugo with 2 mountain peaks. Fairy Washidi uses the crystal ring to resist the mountain peaks, while Ancestor Wugo uses a golden fire spirit to bombard them. The golden giant tortoise breaks free from its restraints and charges at the flower matriarch, shattering her wooden shield and light beam before dissolving. The flower matriarch creates a defensive formation with a black magic circle, remaining cautious against the golden giant tortoise. Taoist Qingping focuses his attacks on Fairy Bingpo, but she calls on the mysterious turtle of the Cambrian period to reinforce her protective ice shield. Taoist Qingping conjures an illusion of the Taiji giant, using thunder and fire to counter the freezing light. Han Li, 9-eyed blood toad and the giant ape transform into the gold body of Brahma and Saint to engage in an intense battle, each side unleashing their most powerful techniques. The giant ape realizes that the Supreme Elder has used the out-of-body incarnation technique and points out that his corpse energy hasn't been removed. The Washi fairy accuses the Supreme Elder of believing rumors and uses a crystal ring to envelop the peak where the giant ape is located, forming a giant crystal sphere. The Supreme Elder admits that his half corpse status is due to a mistake in his cultivation and summons hundreds of phantom clones to attack the giant ape. The Washi fairy offers a Chong Sha blade, and the giant ape is trapped. The giant ape transforms into a figure with purple and gold scales, protected by a talisman armor and lightning arcs, and repels the gray ghost clones and the Washi fairy's sand blade. The giant ape breathes out a silver firebird to attack the Washi fairy and restrains the Supreme Elder. The Supreme Elder offers a green orb to resist the giant ape's attack, which emits a dazzling light and golden text, dispelling the giant ape's power. Hua Shi Fairy sees through Patriarch Wu Gao's sneak attack and uses the Great Substitution Technique to insert a section of her green palm into her own chest to ward off the fatal blow. Using Ghostly Step Technique, Patriarch Wu Gao appears and discovers that Hua Shi Fairy has succeeded in cultivating the Great Substitution Technique and forces her nascent soul to appear. In despair, Hua Shi Fairy reveals that she already had the soul-linking restriction placed on her. But Patriarch Wu Gao had already broken it and had been enduring up until now to obtain the formation disc in Hua Shi Fairy's hands. A golden flame devours Hua Shi Fairy's nascent soul and body. Patriarch Wu Gao seizes the formation disc, refines it, and shows a look of relief. The golden flame transforms into an ephemeral, misty figure, and after Patriarch Wu Gao merges with it, he turns into a rainbow and escapes. Han Li, disguised as a giant ape, observes Patriarch Wu Gao leaving and guesses his reasons for ceasing his attacks. The Red Sea of Mist disperses, and the Heavenly Vajra and the Nine-Eyed Bloodtoad are both badly wounded. The Nine-Eyed Bloodtoad proposes a truce and quickly heals its wounds. Han Li returns to his original form, and Taoist Master Qing Ping and Madame Wan Hua are forced to withdraw from the battle. They express unwillingness to accept the deaths of Patriarch Wu Gao and Hua Shi Fairy. Blood Soul and Ice Soul merge as one, and Ice Soul acquires the memories of Blood Spirit incarnation. Han Li proposes to leave Heaven Peak Palace, and everyone agrees and returns to their original bodies. Bloodbone Sect activates formations to seal the exits of Heaven Peak Palace. Heaven Peak Palace seals close ahead of time, arousing suspicion in Bloodbone Sect's Mahayana cultivators. After activating the formation, the entrance to Heaven Peak Palace explodes and seals. Two groups of people are teleported out of Heaven Peak Palace by the light formation, namely the Blood Coagulation 5 and the Venerable Master and his party. Bloodbone Sect cultivators question the Venerable Master about causing Heaven Peak Palace to close, leading to a dispute. Han Li and Ice Soul left the Myriad Moon Mountains teleportation array. Ice Soul planned to cultivate nearby to consolidate her realm, and then informed Han Li of her plans before taking her leave. Han Li summoned Vermilion Bird and Old Ancestor Flower Stone to meet up, and Blood Sky reported on the battle situation and rumors of the battle in the Myriad Moon Mountains. 1.5 years later, Han Li was discovered by two great Ascension cultivators from the Spirit Realm. He was in possession of the Myriad Spirit Blood Seal, and his cultivation had soared. He killed Merchant Alliance Elder True Monarch Drizzle and suppressed his cultivation. Beneath the deafening explosions, the seven-colored crystal wall blocked the sun-like lightning ball, while the jade hand tore the void, killing the nascent soul. The young man in black robes shot out a crimson electric arc, forcing out the six-winged frost centipede and the ice phoenix. The young man in black robes claimed to be a true immortal from the upper realm and wanted to take the two as his spirit slaves, but was rejected by the six-winged frost centipede. The six-winged frost centipede self-detonated its essence blood, conjuring a fourth pair of wings. It and the ice phoenix transformed into a snow-white frost centipede and escaped. Lu Yi and Bing Feng are hunted down by a mysterious black-robed immortal from the Immortal Realm, who possesses incredible speed and tracking abilities. Lu Yi struggles to escape, depleting his spiritual energy. 3 months later, the black-robed immortal suddenly disappears, bringing joy to Lu Yi and Bing Feng, but reappears after half a month. Bai Ying, the leader of the Blood Heaven Continent's Chamber of Commerce, is stunned by the news of the death of Yanyu Taoist, an investigator from the 8 nations and 19 sects. The culprit skillfully hides from heavenly detection, shocking Bai Ying. The news spreads, and major sects like Bloodbone Sect form the Demon Slayer Alliance to encircle and annihilate the demonic murderer. The Chamber of Commerce sends Elder Zhun Yimeng to join but emphasizes prioritizing survival. As the blood sacrifice incident escalates and a battle between powerhouses looms, Bai Ying prepares the Chamber of Commerce while regretting not being able to face the demonic murderer herself. Han Li and his companions fail to explore an ancient altar but learn that the Battle of the Strong is about to begin. Han Li receives a message from the Chamber of Commerce, and the group sets off to Celestial Horse City to participate in the battle. The Grand Ancestor of Celestial Horse City welcomes them personally and prepares a teleportation array. The teleportation array is a cross-border teleportation array, with the destination being the location of the Battle of the Strong. Han Li receives an invitation to the Battle of the Strong. Accompanied by Bai Ying, Wen Xin Feng, and Lei Yuan, the group arrives at the strange mountain range on a giant flying magic weapon and sets up a super-large magic array and a small fortress near the boundary. Named the Five-Finger Peaks serve as the designated duel locations. And after the array masters from both sides check the protective restrictions, the participants enter the battle. 5 shadowy figures plot to invade a small world, seeking to conquer it through a battle of the strongest. Anticipating that the world's cultivation system is ancient and may possess rare mystic arts, they plan to gain knowledge from the battles. Han Li and several other powerful individuals arrive at the battleground, aware that their opponents are likewise prepared. At the appointed time, both sides withdraw, and the competition is ready to commence. Fiend King Si unleashed a void barrier to fend off Han Li Azure Silk attack. Han Li used Azure Sword Shadow and Sword Lotus to defeat Fiend King Si's Dark Dragon attack. Fiend King Si summoned 5 golden fiend ghosts, refined from nascent souls. Han Li summoned the Gold Devouring Beetle King to fight the ghosts. The ghosts used bone beads to resist the sword lights, creating a stalemate with the Gold Devouring Beetle King. The evil King of Wrath coughed up a bloody essence which caused the ghost face to enlarge and cast the devouring heaven and earth divine ability. The 3-headed and 6-armed giant ape transformed into a golden sphere, creating a golden vortex to counter the ghost face. After the evil King of Wrath disappeared, he sneak attacked the giant ape but was blocked out by the golden sun. The evil King of Wrath morphed into a giant with both arms being severely injured by the giant ape's heavy weapons. The evil King of Wrath summoned a black dragon and spikes to attack the giant ape, but they were countered by the giant ape using a golden python and a force of wind. The giant ape was struck by a ghost claw on its back, but its patterned defense was successful. The giant ape retaliated by slashing out golden blades, injuring the monster that ambushed it. The 5 giant heads roared in unison, forming a light shield to resist the invisible sword chi. The voracious gold beetle king severed the giant's head, but the giant's ghost face power restored the head. The voracious gold beetle king broke the light shield and severed the giant's head again. The giant unleashed the power of 1,000 ghosts to fight the voracious gold beetle king and the ape. The voracious gold beetle king shattered the giant claw, and the golden figure was pulled back by the black rope, almost being crushed by the giant claw. Han Li transformed into the ape and fought the giant claw with his body. The ghost face on the giant claw devoured the golden fistlight and trapped the ape in a black net. The ape burst out with silver flames, and the giant claw broke through the flames and struck the ape's head. The ape transformed his blue wind into a sword to resist the giant claw's attack. The giant ape wielded the profound sky spirit cleaving sword, releasing green crescent moon energy that imprisoned the fiendish commandant. The fiendish commandant turned into a blood mist and escaped, but was sliced in half by the phantom blade. The fiendish commandant transformed into a blood mist again and fled, but was crushed by a giant palm. The giant ape's verdant sword light decapitated the fiendish commandant's second soul. A golden figure released invisible sword energy, vanquishing all the demonic energy, and the fiendish commandant perished. Meanwhile, in the palace of the underworld, a stone coffin burst open, and a dark figure emerged, vowing vengeance for the fiendish commandant's destruction of its true body. 2 contrasting worlds collide violently at their boundary. Han Li directs the gold-devouring beetle to deal with the twin-headed monitor lizard while he transforms into a thunderbolt rock and attacks the netherworld ghost king in the Blood Sea. Wen Xin Feng is overjoyed to see Han Li appear, while the netherworld ghost king is alarmed. Dozens of blood pythons fly out of the Blood Sea to intercept the rock, while the green world is oppressed by a blood sun created from the self-detonation of the blood flame world. The golden dwarf pierces through the blood bowl and fuses with a crystal light to kill the twin-headed monitor lizard. The giant sable takes the opportunity to pounce on the twin-headed monitor lizard and devour it. The rock easily kills the blood pythons, but the netherworld ghost king uses the auspicious thunder to turn the blood sea into a giant wave, and escapes by teleporting away after shielding himself with a black light orb. Han Li and Wen Xin Feng are invited by Bai Ying to participate in a battle of the strongest. The Wheel King and Bai Ying decide the outcome by playing a game of chess, and Han Li is amazed by their incredible skills. Fellow Taoist Lei is defeated, but Bai Ying dismisses it, as Han Li and Wen Xin Feng have already won 2 matches. A middle-aged man informs them that the final battle will be fought by the 7 Apertures King, whose supernatural powers are exceptionally domineering. Bai Ying and the Wheel King have been playing chess for a day and a night without finishing. And Han Li finds it puzzling. The light curtain of the last mountain peak collapses. And a half-human, half-scorpion monster flies out carrying an enemy's head. Bai Ying reveals that the blood fiend Taoist who perished was an incarnation, not his true body. The silver-armored man was defeated after encountering a ghost shadow's divine ability. Han Li acquires the celestial astral shield immortal technique, but its golden seal characters are obscure and difficult to understand. Han Li comprehends the sky cauldron arts and refines the warding calamity divine thunder. Bai Ying and the elder of the Merchant Alliance discuss their subsequent plans. Six Wings and Ice Phoenix, pursued by a true immortal because of Six Wings' provocation, plan to return to Feng Yuan to shake off their pursuer. While escaping, Six Wings and Ice Phoenix are intercepted by four Blood Sky Ascension cultivators, who tell them that someone wishes to hire them to lure their pursuers into a trap. The four Ascension cultivators promise Six Wings that the trap will kill their pursuers, and Six Wings agrees to cooperate due to his desperate situation. Six Wings and Ice Phoenix accept a jade slip containing the location and plan for the trap. Although Six Wings trusts the Blood Sky Ascension cultivators' preparation, he also intends to sit back and watch the tiger fight the dragon, hoping to use the conflict between his pursuers and the Blood Sky Ascension cultivators to create an opportunity for himself. In the desert, the Blood Dao sect sets up a great formation of heaven and earth and the Blood Bone sect's Zhenzong treasure, waiting to assassinate the true immortal Six Wings Ma Liang. The great ancestors of the Mahayana sect speculate about Ma Liang's origins and strength, and discuss the situation of Bai Ying and others watching the ceremony. Half a day later, Six Wings and the woman lured the true immortal Ma Liang into the formation, where Ma Liang emerged to confront them. The formation of heaven and earth is activated, absorbing Ma Liang and revealing 12 Blood Dao great ancestors. Xiao Ming uses the yellow wind diagram, the treasure of the Blood Bone sect, to trap the desert where the evil demon is located. The hawk-eyed man in the blood robe believes that Xiao Ming's move is wise. But Bi Ying, who is wearing a brocade garment with 5 colors, feels uneasy, as she senses that the evil demon's strength is extraordinary. The Confucian-robed man and Madame Lingyun did not have a similar feeling, and believed that Bi Ying was overly anxious. The skyscope suddenly bursts, indicating that the yellow wind diagram cannot withstand the power of the evil demon, and Bi Ying's premonition may come true. The hawk-eyed man tries to contact Xiao Ming, but the formation disc does not respond in any way, confirming that Xiao Ming can no longer be contacted. Everyone realizes the threat of the evil demon and begins to prepare to deal with it. Bi Ying also withdraws her intention to leave first. A bloody battle erupted in the giant city, resulting in the demise of the Mahayana cultivators led by the Bloodbone sect. The myriad Jiu mountain proclaimed its seclusion, and other major forces retreated into silence. Meanwhile, Han Li and his companions embarked on a voyage deep into the sea aboard the sacred vessel of the Ink Spirit. Along their journey, they witnessed a fierce battle between Mahayana cultivators, with 3 sea beasts besieging a silver flood dragon. Within the silver flood dragon's belly resided a tiny purple beast that stirred a sense of familiarity in Han Li. Han Li helped the human-faced Zhao to heal his daughter's injuries. In exchange, Han Li asked the human-faced Zhao to help locate an underwater coordinate. The human-faced Zhao revealed that the Zhenhai Palace was very powerful. With 3 Grand Ascension Palace Masters, he had incurred the wrath of the Zhenhai Palace and managed to escape only with the help of the Azure Zhao Palace. The human-faced Zhao guessed that Han Li had progressed to the Grand Ascension stage at an astonishing rate and asked him about the location of the underwater coordinate he wanted to find. Han Li handed over the matter to the Flowerstone ancestor to explain. Finding the underwater coordinate would be very difficult because the revelation from the ancient altar was not precise. Even with the Flowerstone ancestor's help, it could take a long time to find. A bearded man leads an army of sea beasts to attack Han Li. A beam of crystal light suddenly appears, killing the bearded man and his spirit body. A golden Shao Ren defeats the army of sea beasts, searches the bearded man's storage bracelet, and escapes. Han Li receives a talisman message, finding a suspected entrance to the lesser spirit realm. Old Ancestor Flowerstone and 2 Yao lead puppets to the Crimson Boulder. Detecting spatial fluctuations, Han Li leads Zhu Guo'er into the Crimson Boulder, confirming it to be the entrance to the lesser spirit realm. The Green Spirit Race, the most powerful alien race in the small spirit heaven, possesses formidable abilities. Han Li senses the green spirit race's approach and sets up restrictions to conceal the tunnel exit. Han Li flattens a distant hill with a single palm strike, demonstrating his overwhelming power. 3 members of the green spirit race track him down and encounter the powerful handprint. The green spirit race determines that their opponent is a powerful human and questions his identity and intentions. The green spirit race resolves to pursue Han Li, believing his capture will reveal the truth. The green spirit clan has been defeated, and only a few survivors are left. Han Li encounters 3 green spirit clan fusion powerhouses and learns that they are possessed by the spirits of ancient trees. The 3 summon the ancient tree spirits, which transform into 3 giants, and urge Han Li to surrender. Han Li refuses and prepares to capture the 3 to study their possession techniques. The 3 giants, offended by Han Li underestimation, decide to demonstrate the power of the ancient spirits. News of the demise of the 3 most powerful members of the Green Spirit clan at the hands of a human grand cultivator spread throughout the lesser spirit heavens. The human cultivators gathered and discussed the news, agreeing that it was likely true, but no grand cultivator had ever been seen in the lesser spirit heavens before. Some speculated that the cultivator might have come from the spirit realm and saw it as an opportunity to travel there. However, they also worried that the cultivator might have ulterior motives and hoped that the Moon Immortal could counter the Grand Cultivator. The white-haired elder received a message via a flying sword from the Moon Immortal, indicating that she would go and meet the cultivator. Han Li follows old ancestor Washi back to the flying boat and then enters a cave with the young woman, Ling Faxian. Human cultivators decide to continue observing as they watch events unfold via a magic mirror. The young woman leads Han Li into a stone hall where a snow pine beast offers Han Li a fruit. Han Li gives the beast some medicine to help it develop sentience and the beast begins speaking. Expressing its gratitude, the young woman questions Han Li, confessing that she advanced to void refinement by chance. Han Li asks the young woman about gore cultivation in the maiden cycle technique. Han Li's spirit realm identity is exposed by his fellow Taoist, causing excitement among the human clan cultivators. Restrictions appear around the giant ship, preventing human clan cultivators from approaching. Nandong Wan arrives from afar and reunites with Han Li, showing intimacy. Nandong Wan recounts how she was swept into a true spirit battle in the spatial node and ended up in small spirit heaven. By chance, she obtains the crystal cores of Rahu and the 100-headed worm, resulting in astonishing cultivation progress. Han Li, on the other hand, through various means, fortuitously advances to the Grand Ascension stage after being injured in a spatial storm. Han Li summons 4 human integration stage cultivators and agrees to take them back to the spirit realm. Han Li asks the cultivators to arrange for the future of the human race in the small spirit heaven, including cultivating juniors and leaving behind precious treasures. Han Li and Nandong Wan set off to visit and teach a lesson to other alien races. Han Li easily kills the strongest member of the wind lizard race with a golden giant hand. Han Li and Nandong Wan's next target is the strongest member of the giant mantis race, Gang Jin. A month later, the giant mantis race attacks the light barrier that Han Li and Nandong Wan are in. Colossal sea monsters flee after being frightened by a terrifying aura. The Mo Ling saintship carries cultivators returning to the spirit realm from lesser spirit heaven. Han Li and Nandong Wan stand at the bow of the ship, discussing the cultivation conditions in the spirit realm. Nandong Wan acknowledges Han Li's confidence, believing that he will revitalize the human race. The saintship will proceed to Blood Heaven continent, where it will use a teleportation array to return to Wind Yuan continent. At the port on Blood Heaven continent, Han Li learns of changes in the Herlian Trade Alliance. A fierce demon killed numerous great ascension powerhouses. The Herlian Trade Alliance is downsizing, and fellow cultivator Bai Ying died. 6 Wings and the Ice Phoenix are being pursued by the true immortal Ma Liang. The Ice Phoenix uses a secret technique to help 6 Wings transform his true essence. 6 Wings plans to turn the disaster towards the Horned Kai clan territory, using their Mahayana existence to hold back Ma Liang. A month later, one of the main cities of the Horned Kai clan is blood sacrificed by a skinny youth, killing hundreds of high-level Horned Kai clan beings. The green demon phantom appears and inquires about the identity of the blood sacrificer. Suspecting that the celestial Taoist friend has died, The six-winged Zhao Kai and the Ice Phoenix used a secret technique of the Immortal Realm to attach their soul spirits to Zhao Kai cultivators, escaping Ma Liang's pursuit. This secret technique was a chance discovery by the six-winged Zhao Kai and could only be maintained for half a day. The Ice Phoenix proposed fleeing to another Zhao Kai main city, using the Zhao Qi's arrogance and blood sacrifices as a way to deter Ma Liang. The six-winged Zhao Kai refused to seek Han Li help, believing he would take advantage of them. Half a month later, Ma Liang arrived at the other main city, where he was ambushed by 6 of the Zhao Qi's Mahayana ancestors. After several days of fierce fighting, 4 of the Zhao Kai ancestors were killed, 2 were seriously injured and escaped, and Ma Liang was heavily wounded by the self-detonation of the heaven-sealing remains. The Zhao Kai used their pact to summon 3 true spirits, who fought Ma Liang for several more days. Reverend Ming informs Han Li that the Demon Lord has eliminated the Zhao Qi clan in Thunderclap Continent, killed 4 grand cultivators, and confronted an ancient true spirit. After investigation, it is discovered that the Demon Lord might have concealed himself through spatial force. His whereabouts are currently unknown. Reverend Ming speculates that the Demon Lord may pose a threat to the human race because it is densely populated. And Han Li has connections to the Demon Lord's 2 followers, the Ice Phoenix and the 6-winged centipede. Upon hearing this, Han Li deduces that the 6-winged centipede is an old acquaintance, and he reluctantly decides to intervene. Reverend Ming inquires about Han Li's thoughts on the whereabouts of the Demon Lord's followers. Han Li theorizes that they might have vanished along with the Demon Lord. Han Li leaves the stone hut and departs on a black giant ship, with Nangong Wan inquiring about the situation. Months later, in a mysterious space, Han Li uses chains of law to trap 3 true spirit giant beasts. Attempting to subdue them, the giant beasts question the backlash of the chains of law and the Dragon King's teaching methods. Han Li promises to take the subdued beasts to the Immortal Realm and grant them true spirit pills. Tempting them, the giant beasts become flustered, and the chains of law devour them faster. The giant beasts discuss and come to realize the danger of the backlash. They consider Han Li's offer. As the sun deer and the gray giant bird confronted each other, a fierce battle erupted. A young man in black robes intervened and rescued the sun deer. The sun deer pledged allegiance to the young man in black robes and signed a spirit servant contract. The young man in black robes bestowed upon the sun deer a true soul pill, instructing it to consume the pill before returning to the Immortal Realm. Half a year later, the giant ship arrived at Heavenly Abyss City. Mo Jianli came to visit. Han Li met with Mo Jianli and told him that he had found his companion, Nangong Wan. Mo Jianli gifted Nangong Wan with the profound maiden shattered yin needles. The 3 talked in detail. Han Li shared a piece of good news and a piece of bad news. Good news: a Taoist companion of the human race had advanced to Mahayana. Bad news was not revealed. Mystery of the descended immortals. Purpose unknown. Conflicting with the rules of the interface. Countermeasures. Determine the purpose of the immortals. Exploit their weaknesses. Contact those who have had conflicts with the immortals. Utilize their whereabouts. Human response. Evacuate the population to minimize casualties. Enhance defenses to prepare for potential flooding. Han Li tours Azure Origin Palace with Nangong Wan, selecting her residence. Nangong Wan is shocked by the treasures of Azure Origin Palace and Han Li gifts her a protective magic treasure and medicinal pills. Han Li attends to palace affairs and travels with Nangong Wan for a month or so. Han Li retreats into seclusion to cultivate the secret technique of refining lightning power, gaining great strength. Meanwhile, Ma Liang emerges from seclusion in the Thunderstorm Continent after healing from his injuries. Ma Liang offers up the black and white disc formation, preparing to use a secret technique to escape the restriction. The head venerable of the Herlian Alliance requests the assistance of 6 Wings and Ice Phoenix in dealing with the malevolent demon from the blood sacrifice. 6 Wings temporarily agrees because he is recovering his true essence. Han Li receives news that Ice Phoenix and 6 Wings have been found. Even though he is preoccupied, he sends Elder Flowerstone to inquire about the situation. 3 months later, 2 non-human figures arrive at the Sea Turtle Tribe's forbidden territory via teleportation array. The guards are on alert and interrogate them. Zhen Ling Yang Lu encounters the pursuit of the first supreme elder of the Jiaotun clan. The elder is very powerful and used to be ranked in the top 5 in the spirit realm. Ma Liang deploys the myriad spirit blood seal to deal with the elder. The Jiaotun clan elder recognizes the true identity of Yang Lu and learns that Ma Liang is its master. The elder wants to escape, but is obstructed by Yang Lu. The myriad spirit blood seal falls, and the elder offers up a magic weapon and evil spirits to resist. The young man in black robes senses two enemies near the Herlian Business Alliance and plans to eliminate them. The glass figurine uses a gold talisman to sense the target location in the lower realm. And Malian decides to eliminate the Herlian Business Alliance first. In the Spirit Clan's Forbidden Ground, an unexpected anomaly occurs with the sleeping young man with golden spirit marks. Attracting attention, the old man in white robes inspects the ban and finds nothing unusual, concluding it was a coincidence, but plans to re-examine it to confirm. Han Li successfully refines the warding off evil divine thunder, whose power exceeds expectations and can shatter the void. After receiving the Cyan Talisman message and learning that a true immortal has entered the Windyuan continent, Han Li decides to investigate and expel the true immortal. Han Li delegates the affairs of the Qingyuan Palace. In case of an accident, his disciples can activate the purple gold talisman to receive instructions. Upon receiving the news, the Mahayana experts from various races on the Windyuan continent rush to the outer heavens. Ma Liang discovers that the Helian Chamber of Commerce has evacuated its headquarters and guesses that they received the news in advance. He decides to pursue Han Li and his companions, who bear his soul imprint. A mud dragon rises from the horizon followed by a silver giant. The silver giant catches up to the mud dragon and smashes it into a basin. A monstrous turtle appears in the basin but escapes and is then trampled underfoot by the giant. The giant kills the turtle and consumes its inner elixir. The giant introduces himself to Han Li as Yin Gonzo of the Heaven Rejection race and invites Han Li to travel to the heaven beyond heavens with him. Han Li accepts the invitation and they discuss the matter of sacrificing immortals to the altar. Yin Gonzo brings out a green wave chariot and invites Han Li to ride with him to the heaven beyond heavens. Ming Zun introduces other Mahayana powerhouses when meeting Han Li. There are 3 men and 2 women in the reception room, including fellow Taoist Hua Ying from the Giant Han tribe, Mrs. Wu from the Gulan tribe, Yin Gonzo dressed as a Confucian scholar, a Taoist nun, and a woman in palace attire. Han Li's reputation is well known because he has killed the mother of the maggots. Ming Zun introduces other powerhouses who are also participating in the collaboration, including fellow Taoist Leng from the Jinshi tribe, Yundan Yushu from the Heavenly Cicada tribe, and Zan Juling. Yundan Yushu and Zan Juling joining causes other powerhouses to be wary. Ming Zun reveals that the entire alliance will do 3 things for Yundan Yushu after the event, whereas Zan Juling has agreed to join because he is able to fight with immortals. Despite having numerous powerhouses helping, dealing with immortals is still not certain, which demonstrates the strength of the immortals. Hua Shi Ancestor reports that Ice Phoenix has been abducted by the 6-winged frost centipede, which demands that Han Li not trouble her for 1,000 years. Han Li confirms that the protective treasure has been given to Ice Phoenix and asks Hua Shi Ancestor to stay away from the battlefield during the war. Ming Zun informs Han Li that the true immortals are approaching and summons all Grand Ascension cultivators to prepare the 2 ceremonies dust suppression formation. Yundan and Yu Shu appear and express their animosity towards Zan Juling. Ming Zun explains the action plan and precautions to everyone. Han Li receives a message from Ming Zun, indicating his willingness to cooperate with the plan. The Grand Ascension cultivators leave the hall and head to the ambush location, leaving only Ming Zun, Han Li, Yundan, and Yu Shu. An ambiguous figure questions the illustrious patriarch of the heavenly human tribe about the reason for stationing guards to protect 2 profound heavenly items. But the illustrious patriarch refuses to divulge the cause. The ambiguous figure asks the illustrious patriarch to give him one of the true spirit pills after he obtains it, and the illustrious patriarch agrees. Han Li is ordered to guard a key point in the 2-phase extinction formation, which consists of 8 golden pillars and an altar. Monk Crab points out that the 2-phase extinction formation does not require a guard, indicating that the illustrious patriarch has other intentions. Upon entering the key point, Han Li discovers that the formation is called the 2-phase microdust formation, and has the abilities to trap enemies, weaken them, and self-destruct. The key point can self-destruct after being offered a treasure or a living creature, creating an immense explosion that can threaten even high-level immortals. Yin Gongzi was worried that the absence of fellow Taoist Han and Zhan Juling would affect their strength. But Mingzhen explained that fellow Taoist Han and the other two were responsible for guarding the erase and that Zhan Juling was already present. Zhan Juling expressed his determination to act alone. And although his location was hidden, it was impossible for everyone to find his specific location. At the edge of Ningxia Land, the six-winged and ice phoenix arrived in a glazed flying boat. Having exhausted a great deal of magic power, the six-winged and ice phoenix waited for the right time to enter the Ningxia Land. While also worrying about whether they could succeed, the six-winged are confident in the power that Mingzhen has invited, especially in their former master, fellow Taoist Han. The Ice Phoenix believed that fellow Taoist Han could ascend to the Immortal Realm within 10,000 years, and bet with the six-winged in order to bind the six-winged. The demonic deer warns Ma Liang of a possible ambush by the Spiritual Realm Alliance. But Ma Liang dismisses it. The Blood River and the glassy flying boat enter the land of resounding evil, and the glassy flying boat vanishes suddenly. Ma Liang launches an attack, but it is diverted by a spatial displacement array. Great ascendant cultivators such as Ming Zun appear and trap the Blood River with the two phases annihilation formation. Ma Liang breaks the formation, but law runes appear around the Blood River, restricting Ma Liang and the demonic deer's magic power. Ma Liang uses the verdant parasol to weaken the effects of the law power. Four black lions faced the crimson giant in battle as their wind blades clashed with its tentacles. Yang Lu volunteered to aid in the fight, but Ma Liang assigned him to disrupt the magic circle's focal point instead. Ma Liang provided Yang Lu with a mind bead and a green chaos parasol clone to assist him in breaking through the formation. Ma Liang deployed a crimson figure to sabotage another focal point, warning that anyone obstructing it would be killed on sight. The bright venerable detected the enemy's discovery of the focal points and dispatched a six-winged angel to provide a diversion. He also granted him an array disc forged from the vestiges of a celestial artifact to trap the intruders. Han Li meets with the Ice Phoenix. The Ice Phoenix tells Han Li that he is already in the eye of the formation and invites the six wings to join them. Upon hearing this news, the six wings' expression changes drastically. Han Li sends word that if they wish to save their lives, they must accompany the Ice Phoenix. After some hesitation, the six wings decide to go. However, they disregard the light formation, causing its power to diminish. The Ice Phoenix is overjoyed to see Han Li. Han Li compliments the Ice Phoenix on her improved cultivation. The six wings arrive and question Han Li. Expressing their confidence, Han Li uses the power of the Blood Pact to launch a spiritual attack. Han Li assists Bing Feng in purging her soul of external influences, restoring her sanity. Han Li and Bing Feng agree that Han Li will rid her of her greatest threat, while Bing Feng will assist Han Li in searching for rare materials. Lu Yi, witnessing Han Li capabilities, becomes fearful. Han Li proposes that in exchange for his release from the blood contract, Lu Yi will assist in the search for materials and swear to assist the human race. Lu Yi accepts the conditions. Gaining his freedom and having Han Li remove the soul imprint, Han Li provides a list of materials, which Lu Yi finds difficult to gather, but still agrees to complete the task within 1,000 years. Han Li violent bright gold sand clashes with Yang Lu's yellow sand sea, with the former's crystal sand sea suppressing the latter. Yang Lu covers hundreds of meters in a single bound, suppressing Han Li with thick light halos, which Han Li breaks through with his violet gold fist. Yang Lu condenses wind bullets to attack Han Li, but Han Li smashes them with his bare arm. Han Li activates his true devil's body, wielding the profound heaven treasure wood sword, and confronts Yang Lu. On the other side, a 1,000-meter silver giant sword strikes a crimson fire cloud, with the lightning fire strange python defending. But the giant sword breaks through the fire cloud. Golden runes manifest spirituality, emitting a golden rainbow. Ma Liang uses his magic formula to unleash terror. Yin Gongzi and other ascended beings feel the aura. Zhan Juling appears, injured by the holy beast in the flames. Ming Zun provides water source pills. Zhan Juling heals. The aura of the blood river surges. 7 colored clouds appear. A purple and gold chain emerges. Ma Liang confronts it, absorbing the chain. The terror aura dissipates. The 7 colored clouds vanish. Ma Liang smirks. The ascended beings attack again. In the two-phase micro-dust formation, the genuine immortal Ma Liang unleashed an uncanny magic power. activating the gold and blue runes on his body and transforming into a golden giant thousands of feet tall. Ma Liang utilized the power of his spiritual domain, diminishing the formation's potency and causing the golden mist and light to envelop the entire sky. Venerable Ming's face changed. Ma Liang's deployment of his spiritual domain rendered him immune to the suppression of the realm's power, restoring his strength to its former glory and leaving the others aghast. Golden pillars of light erupted from Ma Liang's fingertips, detonating golden specks of light in the void. Golden volcanoes erupted on the ground, creating a golden ocean. Venerable Ming alerted them that the spiritual domain could not be sustained for long. But its reach continued to expand, forcing them to retreat. Silver Gonzo inquired if Venerable Ming had any other countermeasures, to which Venerable Ming confidently replied that he had prepared 2 strategies to combat the spiritual domain. Venerable Ming activated the Extreme Paradise Brahma River Realm, shielding everyone from the golden mist while transmitting a Brahma sound that soothed their hearts. A gigantic bloody imprint exudes a suffocating aura of bloodshed, forcing the Mahayana cultivators to take defensive measures. Mingzhen summons the Silver Jun Heavenly Scriptures, forming a giant silver net to slow the descent of the bloody imprint. Silver Gang transforms into a silver giant, relentlessly battering the bloody imprint with thunderous fists. Madame Wuling manifests the phantom of a black monster and swallows the bloody imprint in one bite. A woman clad in pale green palace attire brandishes a giant 7-colored axe at the bloody imprint. Other Mahayana cultivators unleash their full force in an assault on the bloody imprint. Ma Liang deploys the bloody imprint to unleash a shockwave that immobilizes all attacks, leaving only a silver light tower to support the defense. Madame Wuling and Silver Gang combine their divine abilities to temporarily stave off the descent of the bloody imprint. The Silver Hook Heavenly Book shields Mingzun and others from the dense attacks of bloody threads. Ma Liang uses a giant blood seal to crush Yin Gongza, Lady Wuling, and 4 black behemoths. Mingzun and others decide to give it their all and resist. Mingzun activates a forbidden technique to seal Ma Liang, Yin Gongza, Lady Wuling, and the 4 black behemoths struggle to resist the blood seal. The lady in light green palace attire uses 3 blue orbs of light to freeze the blood seal. Yin Gongza and Lady Wuling struggle in vain and can no longer withstand the falling blood seal. The 3 blue orbs of light explode, releasing freezing force and ice flowers, attacking the blood seal. The man in grey robe unleashes the 9 Tribulations Grand Technique, killing the True Immortal. The Honored One uses the 9 Tribulations True Flame to melt the True Immortal's flesh, leaving only the skeleton. The True Immortal skeleton uses a mysterious secret technique to restore its flesh and revive. The True Immortal vows to kill everyone present. The Golden Dwarf released sword energy, destroying the Golden Palm, but was trapped by the power of law. Ma Liang transformed into a giant and subdued the Golden Devouring Beetle King, but consumed a large amount of spirit energy. Han Li monitored the Golden Devouring Beetle King from a distance, ready to strike. Another Mingzhen activated the magic formation, releasing a bloody light curtain that trapped Yun Dan Yu Shu. Yun Dan Yu Shu was trapped, unable to use her magic power, and her attempt to escape failed. Crystal threads exploded, engulfing thousands of miles in white light. The Golden Warrior disintegrated, and the golden figure transformed into a sphere. Giant Ma Liang was consumed by the white light. The ancient mirror shattered, and Han Li saw the white light still shining. Han Li speculated that the power of the 2 revolutions micro-dust formation had weakened, allowing the golden figure to escape, but it would revert to its original form and suffer backlash. Han Li and Crab Taoist went to the Soul Gathering Grounds and found a giant basin with only 2 objects floating. A purple crystal shattered, and Ma Liang appeared, pale-faced and surprised by the power of the 2 revolutions micro-dust formation. A golden sphere cracked open, revealing a golden beetle, which Ma Liang recognized as possessing the divine ability to shed its skin like a cicada. Ma Liang prepared to attack the beetle, while Han Li and Crab Taoist set up a lightning formation in the sky and engaged Ma Liang in battle. Han Li is unaware of the bottle spirit and Ma Liang plans to search his soul and kill him. Ma Liang releases 8 Mahayana blood dragons to attack Han Li and Crab Taoist. Han Li uses the green bottle to summon the azure coiling dragon and the golden giant crab to confront the blood dragons. Han Li expends a large amount of magic power to maintain the azure coiling sword formation and fights 5 against 1. Ma Liang uses the myriad spirit blood seal to suppress Han Li. And Han Li resists the restricted law. Han Li blocks the myriad spirit blood seal with 5 elements mountain and a profound heaven treasure. Han Li remains in his demonic god state and continues to attack, destroying several of Ma Liang's treasures. Ma Liang creates an illusion using his silver flute, but Han Li breaks it. Han Li distinguishes between Ma Liang's illusions and true self, and purifies his divine consciousness using his true essence. Ma Liang's trump card fails, and his divine consciousness weakens before Han Li. Han Li uses brute force, forcing Ma Liang to avoid fighting. Ma Liang's true essence and celestial spiritual power are depleted, preventing him from summoning celestial powers. The fire spirit appears, and Brahma Saint and demon god confront it. The fire spirit transforms into a red dragon and uses its fiery claws to resist the heavy weapons attack. Ma Liang secretly attacks, while Brahma Saint summons a golden beetle shield for defense. Ma Liang's soul fragments are torn apart by Brahma Saint's spatial power. Entering the spatial rift, Brahma Saint releases the flaming firebird, which engages in a fight with the red dragon. Ma Liang takes out a golden pill and prepares to use his skills. Han Li kills True Immortal Ma Liang, disregarding his background in the Jianli sect. The dark-skinned youth proposes signing the Heavenly Demon contract, accompanying Han Li, and can persuade the strange Zhao to become his spirit servant. The Heavenly Demon contract was created by the Heavenly Demon ancestor. Its effects are formidable, and both immortals and demons find it difficult to resist. However, immortals who make contracts with the Heavenly Demon ancestor often vanish without a trace. The Firefly Spirit Beast agrees to be Han Li's spiritual servant, but requests that Han Li take it with him when he ascends to the immortal world and continue to follow him after finding its natal crystal bead. The two parties sign a Heavenly Demon contract. Demon light drips blood and attaches divine sense to the contract. Han Li and the Firefly Spirit Beast also share marks and divine sense. Han Li prepares to set off to return to human territory but discovers that the luminary is still lurking nearby and preparing to deal with him. The luminary admits that the previous luminary was his soul fragment and claims that he detonated the magic formation for the sake of the spirit world. Han Li demands that the luminary surrender his head, stating that the luminary almost made him a sacrifice and that even if he kills the luminary, he will publicize his achievements. Han Li obtains the jade tablet, artifact, talisman, and crystals left behind by Ming Zun, and learns that Ming Zun has been killed. Mo Guang and Huo Shuji return with Ming Zun's nascent soul and storage ring. Han Li destroys the nascent soul and takes the storage ring. The three of them leave the Ming Sha land on a flying boat. A few days later, other cultivators enter the Ming Sha land and find it deserted. News of the death of a powerful being spreads among various races, and it is rumored that a true immortal has died in the Ming Sha land. A year later, news spreads that Ming Zun self-destructed using a magic array and perished together with the true immortal. The news causes a stir among the various races. Han Li, as the only survivor, is believed to be in possession of the true immortal's legacy. Mahayana cultivators from other races enter the Feng Yuan continent but are blocked by the gold-devouring beetle king and crab Taoist outside the Wuya Sea. Han Li integrates the imitation into the palm sky bottle, completing the fusion essence immortal technique. Han Li discovers that the palm sky bottle is of extraordinary origin, related to the Tao ancestor of the immortal world, but part of it has been lost in the mortal world and the bottle spirit is missing. Han Li plans to go into seclusion and cultivate, gaining supernatural powers, forging treasures, and improving his spiritual power. Preparing for ascension, Han Li decides to visit the spirit world to find his soul card's owner, who may be related to the Spirit King. 2 months later, Han Li travels to the spirit sanctuary of the spirit world, Mount Fu Ling, and visits the Spirit King. The Spirit King unleashes his supernatural powers, shocking the spirit race guards and saint spirits. Han Li enters the Grand Hall atop Mount Fu Ling and meets the Spirit King. Seeking information about the owner of his soul card, Han Li asked to soul search the soul of the suppressed immortal. But the Spirit King believed that Han Li's spiritual sense was not strong enough to succeed. Han Li insisted on trying, and the Spirit King proposed that if Han Li could withstand 3 moves from him, he could soul search the immortal. Han Li and the Spirit King found another place to fight, and Han Li easily blocked 2 moves. The Great Assembly for the Tao-seeking fruit will be held on True Dragon Island in 2 years, and Han Li plans to attend. Han Li informs his companions to be cautious and decides to venture into the demon realm to search for the bottle spirit. Han Li enters the demon realm and uses a secret technique to sense the bottle spirit's location. The bottle spirit senses his presence and leads him on a chase, evading the demon race along the way. Half a year later, Han Li arrives at the Sea of Demon Origin and speculates that the bottle spirit might be hiding within. He prepares to force his way in. 3 cultivators arrive at the Bitter Spirit Valley where suddenly a milky light pillar bursts into the sky, revealing 2 verdant mountain peaks and a valley rich in spiritual energy. Han Li discovers that the Lingxiao sky pillar has self-manifested without breaking the restriction, and the cyan green vial in his hand flies out in response to it, getting restrained by Han Li. Meanwhile, a yellow light bursts out from the milky light pillar, transforming into a pale yellow vial that competes with the cyan green vial for possession. The cyan green vial's dark green light patterns block the yellow vial, preventing it from approaching. Han Li's mind is put at ease, recognizing that the method he used to integrate the imitation into the Heaven Void Cauldron is also effective on this vial's spirit. Han Li and the fake immortal crab Taoist approach the 2 vials, and the demon ancestor Yuan Yan Saint Ancestor is blocked by the crab Taoist. Han Li cautiously approaches the 2 vials, wary of their spiritual power. A dark green sword beam tore open a space fissure, through which Han Li and Ice Phoenix vanished. The golden-robed Nirvana ancestor and Lady Demon Bao Hua appeared, speculating that Han Li's target was spirit treasures, and he was likely headed to the Mahi realm. The Nirvana ancestor was puzzled by how Han Li had managed to kill an immortal, but Bao Hua suggested Han Li may have attacked the immortal after they were injured. The Nirvana ancestor and Bao Hua discussed their tribulation transcendence. The ancestor was doubtful because of his injuries, while Bao Hua was confident due to her mastery of the spiritual realm divine ability. A month later, Taoist Xie asked Han Li if he had detected the tracking Mahi Grand Ascension cultivator, which Han Li confirmed. Han Li denies possessing the true soul pill, yet Tian Feier remains skeptical. The Golden Dragon Grand Elder of the Dragon Island is interested in the true soul pill, but will not forcefully take it from Han Li. The Golden Dragon Grand Elder offers to exchange items of greater value for the true soul pill, particularly those related to transcending the tribulation. Han Li agrees to consider meeting with the Golden Dragon Grand Elder since the value of the potential exchange may aid in his ascension tribulation. Tian Feier introduces Han Li to the Dragon Island's exclusive hellish steed and wind spirit carriage, hinting at other valuable items possessed by the Dragon Island. Horned, scaled beings emerge in the town, and mysterious individuals with powerful auras make frequent appearances. A mysterious figure purchases a large quantity of wind essence gold from a shop and pays without inspecting the amount. Han Li gathers the wind essence gold in preparation for a trade. Men and women gather in a valley for the trade, with a green-skinned elder taking the initiative. The elder offers rare treasures in exchange for millennial yin marrow, Xuanyuan wood, and even a remnant of the profound heavens treasure. The 7 scales contain the experience of a true dragon's ascension tribulation, and are extremely valuable to those seeking immortality. Elder Jin offers to exchange Wanian Jinsong liquid and these scales for Han Li true soul pills. Han Li considers that the scales can be used by multiple people multiple times, making them more useful and abundant than true soul pills, and he agrees to the trade. After completing the trade, Han Li leaves the True Dragon Tribe's giant warship. Fan Beizi praises Han Li's strength and regrets not being able to witness his feat of killing a true immortal. A giant bottle drains the earth, creating a vast basin. Han Li summons a green bottle to trap the Starry Sky Venerable. Starry Sky Venerable unleashes a blood blade, but it is bound by emerald chains. The green blade strikes down, and Starry Sky Venerable surrenders 3 silver tokens. Han Li slays a giant insect and collects the 4th silver token. Han Li confronts the women in red robes and the old man in yellow robes over possession of a golden whale. After Han Li swallowed the vast spirit Dao fruit, the Dragon Clan elder noticed that Han Li's divine sense was exceptionally powerful, but his foundation was rife with hidden dangers, potentially putting his life at risk. A year later, Han Li entered solitary cultivation and did not reappear for the next 200 years. The human race experienced a significant transformation. The Ice Soul Fairy returned, and weaker races such as the Wood race pledged allegiance to the human race. The Rakshasa clan relocated, and other races extended gestures of goodwill. The human race acquired a vast collection of secret techniques, cultivation methods, and natural treasures, greatly enhancing their strength. Bai Guo'er obtains a lunar yin stone, and Han Li prepares to refine it into a lunar yin cold essence mountain. Only lacking a northern polar crystal, the lunar yin cold essence mountain of Yuanhe Wujishan is refined. Han Li plans to send a soul fragment back to the human realm to find the northern polar crystal. A year later, at the human realm's border, a large group of men gather around a campfire. Next to a frail man in a blue Confucian robe, a long-haired man tells a small man to check if the frail man is dead. After checking, the small man reports that the frail man is deceased. A gray, sinister wind blows past, bringing with it strange laughter. The group of men flee, leaving only the frail man behind. A Taoist in a black robe appears, holding a crystal ball in his hand. He collects the souls of the large group of men and discovers that the frail man still has a soul. So he prepares to collect it as well. In the midst of an aerial battle between righteous and evil cultivators, speculations arise about another shift in power within the great Jin dynasty. Han Li disregards the prohibition and enters Kunwu Mountain, where he witnesses a desolate and altered landscape. With a single palm strike, Han Li shatters Kunwu Mountain, attracting the attention of a nascent soul cultivator and inscribing his name as one of the 10 incredible legends. The stellar Sea Star Palace hosts the birthday celebration of Ancestor Ling, which gathers numerous nascent soul cultivators, possessing a divine transformation cultivation and the extraordinary ability to transcend the limits of his lifespan. Ancestor Ling commands the allegiance of the stellar sea. Han Li's arrival at the Star Palace Hall shocks Ancestor Ling, leaving his true identity a mystery. A man in a green robe pays respects at the ruined ancestral shrine of the Han family. He encounters an elderly couple and their son, Han Ming. The Han couple share the Han family history and the heirloom divine sword sheath. The man in the green robe discovers Han Ming's spiritual roots and gifts him a jade pendant for protection. The mysterious jade pendant disappears into Han Ming's neck. 8,000 years later, the human race has become extremely powerful. The current domain master, Han Tianyuan, is preparing to transcend the tribulation of ascension. Outside forces from the major realms have already gathered at the border, including a ferocious giant, a young man in white, and an old man in green. They are waiting for Han Tianyuan to ascend. The old man in green has met Han Tianyuan before and believes that his strength is extremely strong. He could even easily face 3 of himself at the same time. And the gaze he exudes can make people tremble with fear. Fairy Bingpo and Taoist friend Hu Zhan are also secretly observing. They believe that Han Tianyuan's successful tribulation will bring many benefits and help with comprehending the power of the law. A large number of Grand Ascension cultivators from the spirit realm have gathered outside the human race's territory, ready to witness Han Tianyuan's ascension and benefit from it. Before crossing the tribulation, the crab Taoist revealed that Han Li would help him fulfill his last wish. When the Heavenly Tribulation descended, Han Li sacrificed the Azure Lotus for defense. The sky canopy gale blew, but the Azure Lotus resisted, consuming very little magic power. Molten rain poured down, and the Azure Lotus sacrificed a silver giant bird to resist. Various heavenly tribulations descended one after another, and the Azure Lotus resolved them all. A black hole collapsed, and the Thunder Tribulation descended. Han Li sacrificed a gray hill to resist. Lightning pierced through the gray hill, and Han Li manifested his form as a demon god.